Grading every NFL team's offseason, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so this is House Call. Now, this was sent to me. Apparently, these hombres have an NBA show, and now they have an NFL show. Not totally sure, but they are going to grade the New Orleans Saints offseason. We are going to react, and I cannot wait to see how this goes.
What the hell is a house call? And why is there a red phone on my goddamn table? And why do I got this jersey on right now?
I don't know.
Because we have nothing else to talk about.
Saints. Oh, brother. This guy stinks.
The Aints.
C minus?
I put
back
D.
my friend.
I just the Kellen Moore hire is like cool. That's why I went C minus. But also it's the same thing as we can go deep because it's the same thing as with the Browns. If you walk into week 1 with the quarterback room looking like that, you are trash. And they still, the Saints for years have been doing some money laundering, some cap swindling, and they refuse to accept that they need to go into a rebuild, and they keep playing the line. This year, they are going to suck, and they are still kind of towing the line, and they're still not fully into the rebuild. That's like, I think every year that goes on where they don't fully lean into it, it's going to be a below average offseason.
Yeah, I'm going D. I'm going D for the same reason I'm going the Bengals at F. I just hate them. And I just hate their I hate the way they run their franchise.
Are you telling me there's like no redeeming quality of this offseason?
They drafted Kelvin Banks in the first round. He should be a good tackle for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was a good pick. Tyler Shuck in the second round.
Okay.
That's a pick for you're trying to win games still and remain competent, and like you draft the old 25-year-old quarterback because he's ready to play now and keep you afloat because you don't want to rebuild. Hate that. Maybe he's good. Maybe he proves us wrong. Don't like that strategy.
So, I mean, I really, I'm honestly befuddled. I really am. Like, I keep doing these, and they keep getting sent to me, and I know we talk about like the copy and paste thing. I know we talk about how it's the same song and dance over and over again. And I think the more we talk about it, the more people are seeing it. And the more it's kind of becoming almost like I feel like I'm in the Truman Show or something. Like, am I getting goofed? Is this a prank on me? That all of these other channels, all of these other creators, all of these other people are just doing the same goof and gaff, and Ashton Kutcher is about to pop out of my closet here, and he's about to tell me that I'm getting punked. Because, all right, so let's just break it down. Off the jump, they go to the salary cap, copy and paste. Now, I just did a video explaining how the salary cap situation is. It's not even. Listen, I'm gonna make this very clear. The way that the Saints handle the salary cap is not even unique anymore. These Super Bowl champions, Philadelphia Eagles, have done and are doing literally the same thing. Not like, oh, it's an offshoot of it. Oh, it's, whatever. It is the exact same thing. All right. Brett Coleman just did a video on his channel talking about how this is how teams are breaking the NFL. Like, this is just the way to do it. It is no longer salary cap hell. It is now just the accepted way to manipulate the cap. Also, the Saints are not in salary cap hell. This is not 2 years ago. This is not 3 years ago where they're really up against it. They have relief. They just got $30 million in relief with Derek Carr's retirement. The Saints are actually in a positive salary cap situation, and they're walking into the next couple of years where there will be an even more of a positive salary cap situation. By the time 2027 comes around, we've talked about this a million times, they'll have one of the best salary cap situations in the entire NFL. So the strategy that they use to manage the cap is a total non-issue. Their own salary cap situation is a total non-issue. All right? Now let's get to the next point they make. The quote about Tyler Shuck that this hombre right here just dropped on me. I'm not gonna lie, I almost blacked out and went into some kind of a different dimension. I was almost in the upside down. Okay. So this guy said that he did not like the Tyler Shuck pick because it's a pick the Saints made to try and win games. Brother, what the holy hell are you talking about? That is every pick in the draft. What do they want the Saints to do? In what world? Like, what would it look like? I don't even know the answer to this, honestly. What would it look like? What would a true rebuild for the Saints look like? Like, what does that even mean? Like, oh, the Saints are just they will not tear it down. Look at this. Look at these guys. They drafted players. Do they just want us to go to the podium and say, actually, man, we're not making a draft pick. We're going to go ahead and just tear it down. We're actually not even going to have players on the roster. We're just going to take 17 losses. Like, what do they actually want the Saints to do? They fired their entire coaching staff. They brought in an entire new staff on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. Their franchise quarterback retired. He's gone. Okay. Ryan Ramczyk, we knew he was going to retire. He's gone. All right. So if you look at their monies, their highest paid players are all leaving, all gone. See you later. Okay. This is a rebuild. This is what a rebuild looks like. This is what an organic rebuild looks like. You do not have to cut Alvin Kamara and cut all these. They just traded Marshawn Lattimore. Like, they traded Marshawn Lattimore at the end of last year. What else do they need to do to signal, hey, we're rebuilding? They just drafted 9 players. Like, guys, the rebuild is happening. The rebuild is on.
You know, like you said, they're clearly not entering a rebuild. They signed Brandon Cooks. They signed Justin Reed, which is a good signing from the Chiefs. Shout out them. Derek Carr retired, no longer on the books. Shout out him. They're not better than they were last year.
Are they worse?
Hey, brother, listen to me. A good signal of a rebuild is if you are not better than you were the year before. Is usually a pretty good sign that the team is rebuilding. Now, I would push back on that also, because I would argue they are better than last year because of the injuries. Now, I had a commenter recently that was like, this is the exact same players on offense. To which I would say, no, it's not. Right? Like, it is if you look at depth chart last year, or roster last year, roster this year. But if you look at who actually played, there are not a lot of teams in the NFL who will have a brand spanking new wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, center, quarterback, left tackle. That's what the Saints are doing. Now, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, center, we're all in the team, right? But they did not play last year. Chris Olave did not play last year. Rashid Shaheed did not play last year. Eric McCoy didn't really play last year. Obviously, Tyler Shuck, if Spencer Rattler starts, then okay, fine. Kelvin Banks was not in the NFL last year. This, it's crazy what is happening in New Orleans and how no one is talking about it. I have not heard, and I mean, this is not hyperbole or hyperbole, as some of my friends would say. I have not heard a single person, not one, mention that. Not one besides me hasn't mentioned that. Like, I would argue the team is better because of, like I said, all those injuries. I can understand if you do not take the injury, if you completely remove the injuries and you don't, whatever. I can understand how someone would say, well, I mean, you lose Derek Carr. You go from Derek Carr, who is whatever you think of Derek Carr, but he's a starter in the NFL, to two relatively unknowns with Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck. You have no idea how they're going to play. The quarterback's the most important position. Like, all right, okay. But it does not take a lot to figure out, like, damn, this is a brand spanking new team. And this guy just said, they got Kelvin Banks, that's good. They got Justin Reed, that's good. The defense, yeah, question marks on the defense, for sure. You traded Marshawn Lattimore last year. We don't know what's going to happen with the secondary. Yeah, you have the interior defensive line, big-time question marks. Sure. All that is, I'm not saying the Saints are great. I have them at 6 wins. Okay? But the lack, just the complete lack of like any nuance when it comes to this team blows my mind.
They're just the Saints. They're just the Saints. Like they are going to have to hit a hard reset eventually, but until they do that, it's not going to be anything. They won 5 games last year. Their line this year, their win total line is at 6.5, which I feel like is very high.
Smack the under.
I'm smacking the under right now.
This is investment advice.
I don't see a world where they get to 7 wins. I think they're going to be last in the division. I think Carolina is going to be much better than what they were last year.
Wow.
Tampa Bay and Atlanta obviously are probably going to compete for the title, but New Orleans, unless you think that Kellen Moore can come in and just change everything about this team, fine. But I don't think that that's the case. I'm giving them a D.
Yeah. Last team.
Okay, so I just want to juxtapose what we just saw with the New York Jets, because the New York Jets are in a similar situation where it comes to kind of a team that's for the last couple of years have been underwhelming. They took a shot with Aaron Rodgers, just like the Saints took a shot with Derek Carr. It didn't work. There's some good pieces still there. They draft an offensive lineman this year. They bring in a new coaching staff. Like it's a very similar situation on the surface. Okay, so let's see what they say about the New York Jets. I'm just curious.
New York Jets.
A+.
A+?
Wow, you said that so quick.
What the hell? Tell me why.
I think you got rid of Aaron Rodgers.
Damn.
And I think that you brought in Aaron Glenn and his staff and people who seem to be actual adults and professionals. And for that reason alone, I'm good.
So again, am I? I mean, like, what's going on here? Like, are there obviously there's one camera. Are there cameras set up in the studio that I don't know about? Or am I being watched? Well, of course I'm being watched on a high level. I'm the most watched, most listened to face really in the entire sports media landscape in New Orleans. But what the hell? What the helly? All right. A+. Why? Well, A+. Why? Well, they brought in Aaron Glenn. Now there's adults in the room. Aaron Rodgers isn't there anymore. Can't you just say, well, they brought in Kellen Moore. There's adults in the room. Derek Carr's not there anymore. But this cat right here gave the Saints a D, and he gave the Jets an A+.
I'm okay with that.
Justin Fields is your quarterback. You're going to tell me A+?
Yeah.
Like, that's their guy.
Like, that's...
To lead their organization.
Yes, because you...
Why wouldn't the Jets need to do a rebuild? And why is drafting Tyler Shuck in the second round worse than giving Justin Fields $20 million a year?
Because Justin Fields is not the quarterback of the future. Do I think that this team is going to be good? No. But do I...
Okay, let me do some math here. So Okay, so it's good. It's good because Justin Fields is not going to be the quarterback of the future. Okay. So that's a positive. Wait. Okay, that's a positive. Now, you did pay him $20 million a year, but that's okay because he's not the quarterback of the future. But the Saints, it's bad that they drafted Tyler Shuck in the second round because they're trying to win games. But the Saints need to do a hard reset. But the Jets get an A+. What was it? Oh, because Aaron Rodgers isn't there anymore. Now the Saints get a D because Derek Carr. Okay, but the Jets got an A+ because they brought in Aaron Glenn. Oh, I see now. They brought in a new coaching staff. But wait a minute. The Saints brought in Kellen Moore. Okay, maybe he explains it.
I think that they are taking a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
And something that they did 2 years ago, which is, yes, let's go all in for Aaron Rodgers and make these splashy moves and stuff like that. No, I think that bringing in Aaron Glenn and understanding we have to rebuild this from the start is a solid move. And so I like the direction and all of the messaging that's coming from the Jets right now. And so that is why I'm giving them an A+.
Okay, so okay, 2 years ago they went all in with Aaron Rodgers. Now 2 years ago the Saints went all in with Derek Carr. But the messaging from the Jets has been good. But I don't know what the messaging has been for the Saints. How is paying Justin Fields $40 million? How is paying Justin Fields $20 million a year the sign that they're rebuilding? But they drafted.
I think
That
this
sounds
is
charity
essentially a
little bit.
teardown to the studs. They
But,
let a lot of
okay.
players walk in free agency, a lot of their veterans. They let DJ Reed go, obviously Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Javon Kinlaw, Hassan Reddick, Solomon Thomas, Tyler Conklin. They let a lot of guys go because they're rebuilding, like you said, around Aaron Glenn. And I'm glad they're resetting. I don't feel like this was a runaway value to get them. Like, look at the teams in A+. These teams are like, you put yourself in a massively new, advantageous spot. And this is neutral. It could be good. I like the Armand Membu pick. Incredibly athletic offensive tackle. They might have a top 5 O-line in the NFL, which is a good place to start. Shout out Mason Taylor in the second round. And get replacing Tyler Conklin with somebody with way more juice. Again, good moves were made, but it's so far from like a home run to me.
You have to treat the Jets like
Oh my god.
Kitty gloves.
like the Kings, right? They
All right. I mean, Jesus. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. It's just, like I said, it's such a weird situation because I'm not sitting here saying the Saints are going to be good. That's how wild this is. I'm not saying the Saints are going to be great. I'm just saying that no one is even acknowledging that they exist. No one is even acknowledging what is happening, what has happened. If they gave any analysis and said Saints D minus, whatever, it's like, all right, whatever, fine. But it's insane that virtually the exact same thing can get an A+ for the Jets and a D for the Saints. And the Saints can be just straight up copy and paste, salary cap hell, salary cap this, Saints suck, on we go. I don't know, man. I'm really kind of at a loss of why exactly it is playing out like this. I don't know if it's just, bad teams don't get the shine, but the Saints, the Saints do play. Like, New Orleans isn't the smallest media market in the world, and the Saints did just host the Super Bowl. The NFL is invested to a certain extent in the city of New Orleans. The team has been relevant and fun to watch for 20 years. New Orleans is a destination. Like, it's just weird that they've been kind of shoved into this to where not only are they getting negative coverage, but they're really not even getting coverage at all. They're really just getting like, nah, the team sucks. Yep, F-, team sucks. And that's it. The whole thing is really kind of blowing my mind. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, buy a shirt, buy a mug, and I'll see you in the next video.